to Inside the Lab, where we take you inside the oval. This episode, we step inside Jackrabbit. Meet head coach Andre Al-Ghani. Coach Andre is headed into his 9th season at the helm of Georgia's largest youth track club. This Long Beach Poly alum gave us 15 minutes behind the Jackrabbit curtain. Let's listen.
Jackrabbit is a boys and girls youth track and field program. The name came from my former high school, Long Beach Poly High School, Jackrabbits. And when I started my program, I couldn't think of a name. And I said, why not go to my roots and call it Jackrabbit? We call Long Beach Poly the Funk House. And there's a lot of attitude and pride behind it. And that's where Jackrabbit comes from, because not everybody can survive the high school I went to, Long Beach Poly, whether it's academics or athletics. And I feel it's the same way with my track program. It's not for everybody. This is something I'm very proud of when it comes to Jackrabbit. Jackrabbit was started, founded, and created on its own. We didn't branch off from another club. We didn't go get athletes from another club. We didn't recruit athletes from another club. We started from the ground up. We started within the first few months 10 kids, and by the time we started competing in meets, we had 70 kids. So we have never recruited. We have never reached out to other athletes that were part of other clubs, and my coaching staff, my parents know we don't do that. And we have very few athletes that have left other clubs and come over to Jackrabbit.
What are you doing that continues to attract kids to your club?
It's not what I'm doing, it's what the parents, the coaches, and what the student athletes are doing.
Do you have a board of directors?
No, we do not.
How many coaches do you have?
12 coaches.
Of those 12 coaches, how many of those coaches have athletes who are part of the program?
I would say 10 of those coaches.
Okay. Is there any concern that as their kids cycle through and go on to high school or college that you're going to lose that coach? And if so, what's the backup plan?
Of course, that's always a concern, and that's the point that Jackrabbit is now. And it's just a matter of us reaching out to the community and people understanding what the program is about.
Have you had an athlete who came to you as a youth, so 14 and under, they joined their high school team, and you're still in touch as the coach?
Definitely.
How do you manage that relationship between you, the athlete, and the high school coach?
First of all, we do not interfere with the high school coaches when it comes to their training methods, their workouts, meets, and things
Now stop
like that.
there. Let's say you have a kid who runs the 400, and they're giving you 47s. Everyone knows they can run 46. It's like a gift that you've given the high school. And you know this high school is going to put that kid in the 2, the 4, the 4x1, the 4x. They're going to have the kid long jumping.
Right.
You just know it's going to be like a point horse.
And that happens, yes.
What do you do?
All you can do is talk to the student athlete, inform the parent of what they're going through. And I've had parents say to me, well, we don't want to run high school track. We just want to run summer track and spring track with Jackrabbit. First thing I say is you have to compete with your high school track team.
Why?
Because if a college coach is recruiting you, I believe they're going to want to know, why did you not compete with your high school? And the minute you start to talk negative about your high school and or high school coaches, that's going to throw up a red flag. I tell my high school athletes, make sure you're eating right, make sure you're warming up right, make sure you're doing your cool down, make sure you're doing all the things you're supposed to do so you don't get injured. I'm in constant communication with those student athletes and their parents. Well, when's your next meet? What are you doing? How many meets do you have this week? And if we're going to do anything that's going to damage them and or affect their performance at that meet, we don't bother with it. We just wait till they're done with the high school season. First, we start off every season the same. During the spring, which we call our developmental season, we're getting in shape, conditioning, and doing strength work. And those first 3 or 4 meets, very few kids run 100. We're running an 8, 400, 200, doing 4x4 relays. If we've already identified some mid-distance runners, they may do the 1,500, 3,000. But the base, the foundation, and the training that we do very early on is more 400 and 800 meter pace.
Okay.
And from there, we monitor how they're performing during competition, how they're training, and then from there we start breaking it down.
How do you pick athletes for relays, Andre?
Whew, that's a great question. And the simple answer is top 4 fastest times.
Do you have time trials?
We do throughout the season, but it's early on. So those times are based on their times that they put down in their track meets. And our relays change week to week, week to week, week to week. I will change a relay after region going into national.
2 philosophies with puberty. The first is when that child gets a new body, they're getting longer and taller, and their feet are falling differently, and their arms are falling differently. Do a new event where others say, just have them push through. Right? Just have them keep running the same events and understand that they're not going to be winning by the margins they were, but if they just stick with it, they'll be fine once they come out on the other side. What's your philosophy on training through puberty?
I would say let them try some different events. If they're starting to grow, if they're starting to get, longer legs, we're going to encourage them to try to high jump. We're going to encourage them to start training and developing for the hurdle. If you just keep them in those same events and they're struggling, they're going through puberty, they're not going to learn to adjust. That's 1. 2, they could lose a lot of confidence within themselves. The parent starts to get frustrated, then that feeds into the kid. So we encourage those kids to try some different events.
Do you talk openly about puberty with your athletes or one-on-one with the families when you see that the kid comes back for fall training and they put on 8 pounds and it's all below the navel?
Early on, we take a look to see if the conditioning, how much weight they're going to drop, muscle they're going to build. And if we're not seeing any change, then we start to have that discussion about, let's look at trying a few different events. That's what the spring is used for. Mm-hmm. You have to do spring track and field. You can't just come out and just run summer track because it's too much competition during the summer and they're just running fast.
Right.
And you can't get in shape in the summer. You have to be in shape going into the summer.
What are the telltale signs for you?
Injuries, growth plates, whether it's in the hip, the knee, the ankles. You have to be patient. Some kids are able to push through it, and some just have to, shut it down.
Okay.
We have a sports medicine doctor that we recommend all our parents to, whether they go to him or not. I'll give him a plug, Dr. Buchanan. And he's very good. He does a great job with the kids. Some parents be like, I spent this money, I need my child to get out there and run.
Right.
Or the child will be like, oh my God, if I miss 3 weeks of practice, I'm gonna get behind.
Right.
If you don't have patience, you're gonna get frustrated. The doctors say sit out 3 weeks, sit out 6 weeks. That's what they do.
When you look on the podium, there's generally going to be a Jackrabbit.
Yes.
How many record breakers have you had? Whether they still hold the record or not, how many have you had?
We've had 6.
You've had 6. Do they tend to be concentrated in certain events?
It's been the 400, 200, long jump, and 4x4 relays.
Do you have any athletes who currently hold the record?
We do, yes. 800 girls 400 meter national record. We also currently hold the 800 boys 4x4 national record, and we currently hold the 9 and 10 boys 4x4 national record.
What's the 800 time?
It is a 106.10.
And that's held by?
Olivia Harris, whose sister Sydney held the record when she was 8 and under.
Okay.
And it was broken when Sydney was in the 9 and 10 age group, and Olivia brought it back to the Harris home.
That's awesome.
We're very excited about that.
That's nice, right?
Yes.
What is Jackrabbit known for?
We're known for running the 400 meters, and we always will. You get a lot of parents telling the kids how to run the 400 and looking online and sprint the first 25 meters and stride the back stretch and then sprint the last 100 meters. No, that's not our strategy. Because we don't tell the kids to stride the back stretch because they're going to slow down. We tell them get out hard and fast Work the backstretch. Breathe. Relax. When you get into the 200, that's when you can actually break your form if you want. Between the goalpost and the 200, you can actually, okay, all right, here I go. And gear up again. First to the 200, first to the 300, finish. I believe the key to the 400 is the backstretch and finish. Because if you don't run a good backstretch, when you get here, everybody's feeling the same. So you have to work the backstretch. If you give up on the backstretch, it's going to be tough for you to finish.
Track Lab.
What are your plans for Jackrabbit 2017?
We're going to reload, recalibrate, and you'll see new faces on the coaching staff. You will see more new athletes. We're in our 8th season. The last time we had this type of transition where we reloaded and recalibrated was in 2012. We plan on expanding here in the Atlanta metro area and also in other states. I would like to have other Jackrabbit programs in different counties throughout the Atlanta metro. Cobb, Forsyth, Conyers, Paulding. We would like to expand. I am currently running Jackrabbit full-time.
Okay.
It's gotten to the point to where after 8 years, 8 seasons, I have to devote 100% to the program because I believe in it and I believe in the people that support it. So I'm currently doing Jackrabbit full-time.
Who do you look to year after year for that kind of inspiration? You know, somebody that may counsel you, that you may consult with, somebody who keeps you inspired. Where does that come from?
My wife. I mean, honestly, it does. Year after year, when the season is over, I look back at what those kids did, how they performed, and the work that they put in. They also inspire me more than they realize. I am very old school. I still think about being in high school and looking over Coach Don Norfolk's shoulder when he's holding that paper, trying to see what the day's workout was. Now, have I adjusted to a lot of the science and resistance work, things like that, but we still do hills, we still do sand work, and we still run tough and hard workouts, and everybody runs the 400. As far as staying educated, I mean, whatever classes are offered, I go. You have to be in touch with your peers. You have to be in touch with what's coming out, what's new, the latest technology, to see if it's going to work for you. But the dynamic is this technology for a collegiate, a professional athlete? And is it going to translate to some 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old boy and girl? And I think that's where some people lose it.
Right.
They think everything they see on the internet or read is for a child,
right,
when it is not.
What does AGNB mean?
All gas, no brakes. And we've been saying that from day one with Jackrabbit. All gas, no brakes, and that goes back to the 400. Don't take your foot off the gas pedal.
Do you find competition among the Harris athletes? Because there are 3 of them, right? Kimberly, Sydney, and Olivia.
And there's a 4th.
Younger?
There's a younger one, yeah.
What's her name?
Carrington.
Oh, wow. How old is Carrington?
Carrington, I believe Carrington is 5.
Oh, my goodness. Now, I know this may be a tough question. I've seen Olivia, Sydney, and Kimberly run.
Yes.
But I'm most impressed with one of them in particular. So what's your pick? Which one's going to go all the way?
I am impressed with all 3 of them. All 3 of them have the capabilities to go all the way. They just do because of their work ethic, right, and what the parents instill in them. That I can tell you.
Okay, which one, Andre?
When I look at the 3 of them and I see someone at the Olympics, I see Olivia Harris.
That's my pick! Stop that.
Track Lab.